The IRS scandal really could be Obama's downfall. It has all the hallmarks. Let's first just review the facts. It has come out that the IRS was targeting conservative groups, any group with the name Tea Party or Patriots in its name, and auditing their tax returns. Specifically, what they were auditing was their application for tax-exempt status or for nonprofit status, which are different provisions of the law. And the audits were very intrusive. I had the head of Tea Party Patriots, both names, on my radio show, Jenny Beth Martin. She said she was required to produce every single page of her website from the beginning of her group's tenure until now, and every comment about those pages, and ditto for her Facebook site. She said it was reams and reams and reams of paper, and she had a staff of 7 people and couldn't really afford anything in the way of major legal representation. So it's just this kind of stuff that went on. And it wasn't just those 75 organizations, Tea Party or conservative groups. Also, any organization that talked about educating people on the Constitution or the Bill of Rights were targeted. At one point, the IRS was going to target any organization that said they didn't agree with how the country was being run. And then that was changed, and it became any organization that opposes bigger government or opposes the growth of federal power. Clearly, what they were trying to do was target people that disagreed with them and inflict the pain that only the IRS can bring upon them. Bear in mind, this is an agency with 123,000 employees with enormous power. Without going to court, they can take your property, take your income, basically ruin your life. And certainly when they're dealing with these advocacy organizations that were not very wealthy at all, largely citizens groups, it really was an incredible challenge. I think you'd have to go back to the Alien and Sedition Acts under John Adams, where free speech was outlawed, basically, to find a comparable intervention into the political process by a president. Or you could go back to 1974, when Richard Nixon did more or less the same thing. And while Nixon resigned the presidency, he did so one step ahead of being thrown out. And the impeachment articles that were voted against him in the House included misusing the IRS. That was one of the key articles of impeachment. So we're talking about something that really could develop and become big against Obama. And he claims that he didn't know about it. Well, that's absurd. The IRS commissioner was asked about it a year ago in his testimony before Congress. Lied about it, but was asked. The president would obviously know about that. The New York Times ran a front-page article that said that members of the big donors to Romney were being audited by the IRS. The co-chairman of Romney's Finance Committee was audited by the IRS and the Labor Department after he was singled out for special criticism on Obama's website. All of this was in the media. Then in addition, he was targeting Jewish organizations that advocated the state of Israel and that opposed administration policy in the Middle East. This really got out of hand. And ultimately, Obama was responsible for it because he created this climate of enemies, this climate of class warfare, us against them, in the same way Nixon did, the silent majority against the hippies. And with Obama, it was the 99% against the 1%. And in those kinds of war, all things are fair. And it seeps down to the bureaucrats at every level, and they go for it. And it is impossible to believe that Obama didn't know about it. So this really could metastasize in a way that could be very hurtful to this administration. Thanks for watching.